Go back to doing the thing that made you feel invincible before the trauma. And that has saved me.
Jackie Adedeji is a broadcaster, writer, and a fierce advocate for body confidence and speaking up about injustice.
She's presented on ITV, MTV, and BBC Three.
If someone says like, oh, what do you think about Katie? They're not gonna say, oh, she's got like a banging pair of boobs. You're gonna think, oh my God, she's such a good friend. She's so kind.
Yeah.
And I started to realize that how people see me is, not always tied to my body. I'm actually sick of feeling crap about myself.
What advice would you give to someone who has been through trauma, whatever that is?
In this episode, Jackie talks about body confidence, authenticity, and the power of speaking your truth.
Do you think your 20s were your figuring out era? And what did your 20s teach you? And what maybe has 30 brought to you?
Wow, that is a big question. I feel like
Hi, I'm Camilla.
Hey, I'm Katie.
And welcome to You're Gonna Be Fine, the self-development podcast with a chatty twist.
Please know we are not professionals, just regular girls sharing from our own journeys to hopefully educate, motivate, and inspire you on yours.
So if you are dealing with something serious, please speak to a professional because they are the experts, not us.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, and share with someone who you think would enjoy it.
It helps us more than you know to reach more gorgeous people just like you.
With that being said, enjoy the episode, and remember, whatever it is,
You're gonna be fine.
On today's episode, we have Jackie Adedeji with us, and this combo. No, I feel like you have to just say it now. Go on, say it. I know you're dying to say it.
No, it's because Jackie's cousin is Rachel Adedeji.
No way.
From X Factor. I told you. Sorry, I was laughing because I really wanted to say it. Carry on.
This combo was unreal. Truly, such an icon. As her t-shirt says, you will have to watch on YouTube to see that.
Jackie is a broadcaster, writer, journalist, documentary maker, and a fierce advocate for body confidence, women's mental health, and speaking up about injustice. Jackie has presented and appeared on shows across ITV, MTV, BBC Three, and Channel 4.
Jackie has opened up in her Untold documentaries, My Big Boobs and I Don't Trust My Therapist. And most recently, she's made headlines with her courageous stand against misconduct in policing.
In 2023, she raised an allegation of sexual misconduct against a police officer who misled her about his identity, only for that process to become re-traumatising thanks to insensitivity and mishandling by those investigating.
Over the course of this episode, we talked about Jackie's personal journey with body image, self-confidence, self-acceptance, authenticity, age gap relationships, and her important work calling out systems that fail people, challenging the justice system and female safety. So we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did.
Such a good one.
Jackie, thank you so much for joining us on You're Gonna Be Fine. I want to just enter this chat by explaining really how we met. That's the biggest I've ever heard.
And also, because we're both podcast trained, we know we can't interrupt, so we were like, we can't speak.
Nodding.
But we're like,
yes,
let's do that.
Oh, absolutely.
So basically, on a previous episode, we had the gorgeous Lindsay Kane on. Please go and revisit that episode if you've not watched it already. And she invited us to the launch of her business and community, the Yes Club. And it was a dinner that was gorgeous, by the way, wasn't it?
So divine.
And we basically we went together, me and Camilla, obviously, but you got placed next to the person that you got placed to. It was all very random.
Yeah.
And I got placed next to Jackie.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was such a great dinner and we just had a great old natter. We talked about all sorts of things. Won't display what they were because we're probably going to repeat some of the topics today. But as soon as I left, I messaged you and was like, so amazing to meet you. And we just had you earmarked.
Honestly.
It's pod guest material.
I was like a meerkat down at the other table. I was like, hey, guys, I've got FOMO. My people were lovely next to me, but I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, hello. And then at the end, we were like, we need her on the podcast.
Yeah, it was like, bellowing cackles from across the table. Like, every second.
Yeah, it was
literally.
amazing.
So
It was
thank
so
you
good.
so much for joining us
Of
today.
bloody course. I'm so honoured to be here, so thank you for having me. I love Liverpool, so I'm happy to be here.
And you said on your story before, the stalking continues.
Yes, tell me.
that you thought you would marry a northerner.
I did. Yeah.
And what happened there then?
Good old Danny, but
Yeah.
it just didn't last.
Aww.
Hope he's well though. I think he's married and stuff now. I mean, it doesn't matter. But,
All the best,
hope
Danny.
you're good, Dan.
All the best, all the best. So the main thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, and I know that Camilla feels the same, is this theme of body confidence, because you are such a powerful voice for body confidence and advocacy in that arena. And so I really wanted to, first of all, just find out from you about your experience really with your own body confidence and the beginning of your journey with your awareness of your own body and what that experience is like for you.
Oh my God! Right.
What a question.
Straight in there.
Yeah, there's layers.
Also, it's giving Oprah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
girl. Love it.
Really good.
Love it. Well, I mean, you know, like lots of us, we grew up in the size 0, thigh gap. God. You know, Special K.
Booty.
Yes, all of that, you know, Atkins diet books,
Yeah.
all of that. We grew up in that culture, the magazines, you know, Thinspo, all of that. So we grew up in that culture, diet culture. And so growing up, I felt confused and ashamed of my body because, you know, I wasn't super skinny. I had the large bust by the time I was 11 years old. So when I was 11 years old, I was a 30 double F.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, but then you're also seeing like women with big boobs being kind of, you know, hypersexualized and objectified. So I'm kind of like, oh, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're like kind of talk, because I don't look like how I'm supposed to look. But then it also looks good over there because they kind of look like me. So I went through this thing of like, then like over-sexualizing myself as well because I was just so confused, like where do you fit in? And so growing up, I just felt like I didn't know what box to be in. So I was, you know, I was letting, I guess, the world dictate who I was and how I should feel about my body. I was looking outside for guidance. And it was really rough because my dad's a priest. So, you know, there was a lot of like, don't wear that, don't do this is not holy, don't dress like that. People will think this. And I'm thinking, I'm a kid, like I don't really, I'm just trying to like be like my friends, you know? And so there was that thing of like feeling like you're an adult, you're a girl child.
Yes.
But you're a child, but then everyone treats you like an adult. And so it was really, really confusing. So as I was growing up, I just started to like become a shell of myself. And, you know, I thought I should just be invisible. At least if I hide, then no one will make comments about my breast. No one will make comments about my body. I won't make anyone uncomfortable. So everything was about everyone else and how everyone else felt rather than what I wanted and how I felt about me. And then I had this like amazing moment when I was about 17 years old where, you know, like you need to hit rock bottom.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I remember I was like, I'm actually sick of feeling crap about myself. Like, I don't even know how I feel about myself because I'm constantly looking for other people to validate my existence. And it's so draining because someone could tell you look nice tomorrow and then they might say you look terrible the next day. So then are you just gonna like, do you know what I mean? It's like that quote, if you live by people's opinions, you die by their decisions. So I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So I remember I was like, I'm gonna get on a mission and I'm gonna figure out what this is. Like, I'm gonna just figure this out because I need to figure it out. And so just slowly, I just started to kind of like read myself positive affirmations, like just speak to myself more, get to know myself and just try and understand what this is so that I can best manage it. And then as I went to uni and college and stuff like that, I then started to kind of get my confidence and be like, yeah, actually, I am so much more than like what people perceive me as. And also I am so much more than my body. Because I started to realize that a lot of the time people are not, if someone says like, oh, what do you think about Katie? They're not going to say, oh, she's got like a banging pair of boobs. You're going to think, oh my God, she's such a good friend. She's so kind. And I started to realize that all of this is kind of irrelevant. It's actually how I feel about myself. And also, you know, how people see me is not always tied to my body.
And it's actually got nothing to do with me.
No.
How you see
Yeah.
me has got nothing to do with
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
It's all about their projection
That's
of
right.
their own insecurities and wounds. And
That's right.
And that's so powerful.
Yeah.
What was the quote that you just said then?
Yeah,
I want you
loved
to
it.
I just feel like we need to go back. Let's just retweet that.
Yes. So the quote is, if you live by people's opinions, you die by their decisions.
And that just puts all the power on them,
Yes.
doesn't it? Gives
Honestly,
them the power.
if you could drop this mic,
that would be
really
great.
wish that would be
was
great.
really
I really
good.
wish
And
that
we've
you
done
would.
the quotes. We
Yes.
we are
love a quote.
quote
whores,
queens,
so that was
honestly.
a new one.
And
Yeah.
I've never heard that either.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, that was
is
amazing.
Great. And what's interesting about your journey is, so you set about trying to understand for you, but you've helped so many people on the journey. What has that looked like? Because obviously you've built a community, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I always say my activism, I don't see myself as an activist, is quite literally living my most authentic self, whatever that looks like. Because for me, it's like, how do I feel? I just put out how I feel about myself and like just positive energy. That is my activism. I feel like my contribution to the world is being myself. I love that. And if it was that easy, then everybody would do it. It's really difficult. But I realized that the first step in self-acceptance is acknowledging not just what you are, but what you're never going to be. I'm never going to be Beyonce. I'm never going to have her body. I'm probably never going to have what she has, but that's okay. And it's like acknowledging all the things that you won't be, so then you can accept who you are. So for me, I'm like, this is who I am. Yes, I'm a bit chaotic and scatty and this and whatever, but this is me. And so when it comes to my community, that's kind of what I like to show, is the realness and the rawness. Like, I'm not hiding from anything. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. Whether that looks off-brand to somebody or not, I actually don't care.
Yeah.
I always
Well,
say-
it's your brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
You could be the juiciest peach and still someone doesn't like peaches.
Exactly.
And that is just like, I'm going to be me.
That's
you
it.
be you.
Yeah.
And if we happen to get on, great. And
Yeah.
if not,
Then,
great. Also great.
Yeah,
This is
'cause
it.
You can't
This
be
is
liked
it.
by everyone. Yeah.
No.
In terms of that, though, authenticity is such a goal,
word.
isn't it?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's so easy to just be like, oh yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how would
Yeah.
somebody get there, in
What
your
are the
opinion? What would
steps?
your advice be to somebody who wants to try and be themselves or figure out what that is for them?
Wow, that is a big question. I feel like, kind of like what I just said about how you've got to work out. Because I think a lot of the time we are, like I say, comparison is the thief of joy, right? We're often like looking at other people to like understand who we are. Stop looking out and start looking in. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Because like, I'm best friends with myself. Like,
Yeah.
we ride hard for each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, girl,
Oh my God,
Like, you're going to take yourself on a date after, date yourself.
like, we have the best time. Me and sometimes my husband's like, are you talking to yourself? I'm like, yes, girl.
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah,
We are in full-blown dialogue.
Yeah, but I
Like,
think
that's
that's
it.
something we've all got in common. We
Yeah.
all get on with ourselves
That's it.
so well, but we've done the work.
Yes.
I know we're not going to go into it in too much depth today, but we're all like therapy. We've been to
Yeah.
therapy. We've done the
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
we know
Absolutely.
ourselves. We know what we like. We know what we don't like. We
That's
know what
it.
we want. We know what we don't want.
That's it.
And I think that's so, so key.
Yeah,
And I
being
love
blessed
to
with
see
yourself.
it like as well.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything about, because you're in your 30s now, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Are you
Oh my God,
31?
30s.
I know. Can you believe it? 25 and overs
Oh my God, I
category.
know for a sec.
All of us
31.
are though. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Are you 31?
31, yeah.
So we're 30, obviously 30s club. But do you think your 20s were your figuring out era? And what did your 20s teach you? And what maybe has 30 brought to you?
So I feel like for lots of us, our 20s you're just trying to understand like who you are in this like big world now, like, and navigating that stuff. Whereas I feel like with 30, I have the experience of who I am. So it's like, I know, it's like certain situations I found myself in over and over again. I now know that that's a pattern because I was in that situation when I was, 22, 25, 26. I have a deeper understanding of like myself and how I respond to things. And also what I will accept and what I won't accept.
Yeah.
But I think that even throughout my 20s, I always had a kind of deep understanding of self. I don't know if you ever had people saying like, you're so wise beyond your years. Sorry,
It's called trauma.
I literally, tell me why I was living for those compliments though.
I know,
I'm so grown.
Yeah.
In your Channel 4 Untold documentary, My Big Boobs, by the way, big fan. Can I just say, I'm a 32 double D and I always go on about my big boobs. I have small boobs, okay? Now I've watched that documentary, I'm like, I'm an A cup, basically, because I didn't even, I know it sounds so naive, but I didn't even realise some of those cup sizes existed.
Oh, babe, they go up to a P, a Q and an O.
Wow.
Wow.
So in the documentary, you were obviously talking really honestly about your physical and emotional symptoms, I guess, of having massive boobs.
Yeah.
And it's something that, you know, I was going to say it with your chest, but literally say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Literally. And it was really interesting because on the documentary, you were going down the route of explaining sort of the quote unquote negative sides of having big boobs. But then you had other women on there really, you know, championing their boobs and really, really loving it. And so I just, obviously, the documentary was a couple of years ago now.
Yes, 2023.
Yes. So I just wondered where your stance is now. After having done the documentary, spoken to all these women, you're now got your own big boob community, these events that you run. Where do you stand now on having big boobs and how that affects you physically and emotionally now?
Oh, me personally?
Yes.
So my belief has always been you can change your mind at any time, right?
I love that.
So I'm fine with being a larger chested girly, but in 5 years, I might be like, do you know what? I want to go down a couple of sizes. And that is my right because it's my body and it's my choice. So for me, I'm very much like, you know, I own it. But if it gets too much for me, if it does, because of course on the documentary, the doctor had said, you know, you're going to have back problems and stuff like that. Then if it gets to that point, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, I know lots of women who have, you know, they started off making content that was all about owning having a fuller bust. And then they've got a breast reduction, nothing wrong with that. And then they're like, I can't return. I'm like, but you can.
Yes,
yeah.
it's your body.
Return.
Things change, you know, take every day and every year as it comes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there was a scene in the documentary where the surgeon was explaining to you about your back pain and, you know, he was showing you some of the before and afters, like really life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
It was really emotional, actually.
Oh, my God.
When that lady had her breast reduction and her face, she was just,
know.
it truly, I was going to say another pun, taking a weight off her shoulders,
Yes,
essentially,
literally.
in having that transformation. And there was a part where you got quite emotional, explaining about how your conflicting thoughts now that you'd seen all these transformations that made you think, oh, well, maybe one day, you know, I'm a body confidence boob advocate, but actually maybe one day I might want to do this. And does that make my self-love and self-acceptance not valid anymore? Where do you stand on that now?
Yeah, I guess at that point I hadn't. That shocked me because I really was like, I'm making this film and like this is how I feel, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel anymore. But now I do know. I mean, it's obviously been a few years now, but I do know how I feel, and I know that like if I did decide to get a breast reduction surgery, and I don't know. I don't think I would lose my community. I think now I just kind of feel like, and also I also feel like much of the work that I do is like, I don't necessarily pigeon myself to just having big boobs. I try and do loads of different stuff. So even if that was the case, like there's still other,
Of course.
you know, there's still other avenues.
Yeah.
And also it's like, we can't be held to certain, you know, what I said at like 26, like I'll never have a breast reduction.
Yeah.
You can't say that, like, you can't hold me to that standard when I was 26.
Never say
like,
never.
Right.
Yeah.
So
People
it's
grow,
this,
change, evolve.
and I think that is also a big issue right now with the rise of like Ozempic and Wegovy and, you know, people taking these weight loss injections, and a lot of people who predominantly were known as like, I don't know, activists who are all about like body positivity, and they're taking it for whatever reason, that's their right, you know, not feel like they're going to lose their community. And it's like, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
To
And
make
it's like,
you feel good. It's like I flew the flag for my boobs. Then I became unhappy with the boobs and got new boobs. You know, and that is my right.
Absolutely.
Your
And
body.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, you know, that I might get to the point where I'm like, you know, I want to take those out, and that's fine as well.
Yeah.
But wasn't I like, I loved the boobs, and then as soon as I stopped loving the boobs and the confidence, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something for me. So I think it's all about that individual decision, which is so empowering.
And actually, at the Yes Club dinner, we were talking about that because I was explaining to you about my sobriety journey, and all of my content was sobriety for years. And then I got 5 years sober, and I was like, It's just a bit repetitive for me now. Like respect to sobriety, best thing I ever did, will always be. But I just don't need that to be such a dominating part of my story anymore.
So much more.
I've healed from that. I've come through. I've done my bit. I've shared. I've built community. I've helped a lot of people, and I feel like I kind of want to step away from that now. And that's my right. That's fine. But I did get a few messages and stuff being like, "Why are you not posting sobriety content anymore? Unfollow, like stuff like that." And like that's fine. That's your right. But I really truly feel that because I think actually, and what you said to me on the night at the S Club, you're like, "Fuck them." Did I
say that? I must have had a lot of that prosecco.
Louder though.
No, but you were basically like, people who follow you for you, not for your cup size or your sobriety story or being on The Apprentice. That's a huge cornerstone of your career. That you've still got a lot of stan fans, but there's more to you than The Apprentice now. And that's all part of the journey. So I really love that sort of message for growth. And
absolutely,
evolve.
if we're not evolving, then we're dying. Like we have to
don't die on the same hill.
Right, we have to keep moving forward, and we do a disservice to ourselves when we don't do that. Because I also think that, like, you know, the right people who follow you because they love you will ride hard for you and will follow you if you decided to, I don't know, start making content about trees. They'll be like, you know what, I'm here for it. Have your moment, girl. I'll be here.
Yeah, and similarly, even if you're not one to make content or have a following online, even in your daily life, you are allowed to change. You're allowed to change your mind. Like, things are evolving. We've just done an episode on navigating change, so this seems to be quite a good marry up. But I really do echo that quite passionately because I really, really, feel that in my bones.
Yes.
So the other major thing that we really wanted to talk to you about is that very recently you've been very brave and come out publicly about a police misconduct case that has happened. So first of all, I'd just like you to just share the story and sort of paint a bit of a picture to us of what happened.
So in 2023, I reported a police officer who I was involved with from when I was 22 to 25 for abusing his position of power for a sexual purpose. So he deceived me into a relationship with a fake identity for 3 years, and it was coercive and emotionally abusive. And he took advantage of me and preyed on my naivety. So I reported him in 2023 to the IOPC, who investigate the police. And then they forwarded it on to the City of London Police, because that's where that officer was working at the time. They took on the case. And then I came in to do what is called like a achieved best evidence interview, where they basically you're in a room and they film you, giving you evidence. I was there for about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Gave them everything, WhatsApps, you know, stuff that is so embarrassing. Like, you know, when you're like the frontal lobe hadn't even developed and it's like, this is so, I am like dying. Like, it was so bad, but I was like, take everything.
Yeah.
Because the shame is not mine. So did all of that, gave them everything. And then about a week and a half later, they told me that he'd been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and that was regarding the fact that it was alleged that we had sexual contact when he was on duty. That was the reason why they arrested him.
Right.
Because you're not allowed to do that when you're a police officer.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was like, oh my God, okay, like they're really taking this seriously. But then I was assigned a detective who was my investigating officer. And he started to make inappropriate comments about me. Again, I give him everything. So that included WhatsApp pictures, WhatsApp images, you name it. And I'd given that to a female officer first. I was like, just take everything.
Yeah.
And then they had given me him, and then he was saying stuff like, oh, well, he's got great taste as he met you and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? Yeah, it was like, this is kind of weird. Yeah. So then I reported him because I was like, this is kind of weird. But then they gave me another officer to investigate him. I thought, when I was speaking to him on the phone, I was like, oh, I don't know, I just felt something was a bit strange. I wasn't really sure. So I Googled him, and then I found that he's stood trial for rape. And I
3
Yeah.
So that's 3 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 in a row.
Wow.
3 in a row.
So what happened after that?
And then I had obviously spoken to the police and said, you know, they just ignored my emails, like about, it was really bad. And then, like, you know, I had to waive my anonymity. It wasn't something that I was like, I'm doing this because it was like, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because it felt like they were trying to like shut me down and like suffocate me and like, and I'm like, no, like, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, I'm a whole person with like a whole platform and a whole life. This is not okay. So I was like, right, I'm going to waive my anonymity. I didn't have to because technically they could have run the story
That's
without.
really brave.
But I thought I need to say,
Shine some light on
shine a
this.
light on like, and also, I know that people sometimes have an idea of like what a victim looks like and how a victim presents themselves. And there's so many of those like stereotypes and prejudices. And so I was like, yes, you can be, bold, but vulnerable and capable, but also like still feeling very weak. And I wanted to, embody that. I'm all those things, but I'm still like my own powerhouse, right? We can be all of those things. So I was like, right, I'm going to waive my anonymity and speak truth to power because what I have is my voice and I'm going to use it. And so I did that. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I was like, and again, that stuff comes with a cost, everybody knows your business. Everybody knows that you had sexual contact with someone on duty. Again, the person I actually reported in the first place, we don't know who he is yet. So, I've aired all my business as the person who should have been protected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of messed up.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry,
We're both just
so
like,
many questions.
seriously, I've got just goosebumps all over.
It's
And
just shocking.
I watched it last night, and
Yeah.
it did just for women as well. It just doesn't make you feel safe, which is our biggest thing that we want. Like we want to feel that safety, and it just. When they were talking about when you obviously said like if a woman said to me, should I report it? And you said you couldn't hand on heart say do it, which is a really scary place to be. And I think the police minister, it was Diane Johnson.
Yeah.
She came back, didn't she, and said some stuff. She basically said that she's like gonna do what she can. She was quite reassuring, but obviously a big thing that you say is actions over words, like So we want to see that from you, Diane.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she did kind of go on at the end of it, didn't she, and said, this isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that now?
I mean, I went to the Home Office to meet Dame Minister Johnson to talk about my case, and she asked me a question. She said, do you think this experience is exclusive to you, or is this like a woman problem? And I said, that's an interesting question. And I said, well, I think yes, it's a whole. I don't think I am the only one. I think I'm just somebody who's waived their anonymity because, as I said, it comes at a risk. If I'm already public, so it's different. Whereas if I was a receptionist, oh please, I'm absolutely not going to waive my anonymity because you don't feel like you can. Whereas because I have a platform, it's kind of like I've already done documentaries. I'm already like online, like what you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, do you know what I mean? But I did also say that in some respects, I think it's exclusive to me. Is because how it feels like to me. That I have been treated like, almost like, how dare you, the audacity of you to come forward and report these officers. Like, who do you think you are? Yeah. It's almost like you're not a victim. I've never felt like they've seen me as that. I feel like they've seen me as like, you're all right. You do documentaries and like you hang with celebrities or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, you don't live in my.
They've taken out the person, the human.
No,
That's what they've done.
I'm not a person. No, I'm not a person. Yeah. And I think again, if they're only referencing like my evidence or like my Instagram or whatever they reference or what things people have said, then you don't have a real raw account of who I am, and it just felt like they've not tried to understand what has actually happened because it reads like he lied about his identity and then like. But he was basically having an affair and like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like, well, that's not really what happened because there was emotional abuse and it was coercive and there was so many, he used to like pressure me to send naked photos of myself, right? So it's kind of like, so much of that is missing. Yeah. And then I think because of how I self-present, it's almost like, well, it can't be that bad because you're in your bra and pants on your Instagram.
But you know
Do you know what I mean? That energy.
Like you so perfectly said, multiple things can exist at the same time. I can be on Instagram with my arse out
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
I am a victim
Absolutely.
because of your system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just because I'm not a meek and mild receptionist, for use of your example,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm not a victim.
Absolutely.
That's just complete
Yeah.
bullshit.
I saw somewhere as well that police misconduct so reports of that are up 67%. So that's actually really interesting though, because like maybe you coming forward as well has had an effect on that stat, which
I
is
hope so.
amazing
I hope
if it
so.
has.
And that's your activism through
which
being
is-
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
The courage to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We did an episode about that and
Yeah.
it was honestly so good.
And it is courage because you described going through all of this as re-traumatising, which
Oh my
it
God.
so is.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone
Yeah.
who has been through trauma, whatever that is? Because obviously different trauma is different for all different types of people and their experiences. How have you come through and feel better today, hopefully?
Well, do you know, my journey to healing has not been linear. It's been, as soon as I went for my anonymity, I literally had a nervous breakdown, like in every way. And, you know, we don't always look like what we're going through. So
Yeah,
I was
true.
I have, you know, but I saw this quote, I think it was Gabor Mate, I think it was. But he said something like, go back to doing the thing that made you feel invincible before the trauma. And that has saved me. I've been doing all of the things that I used to do before I reported, you know, that officer, before I met him. Like all of the stuff that I used to enjoy as a child, I've been doing like, you know, healing my inner child and like all of that stuff. Like I've literally bought like these teddy bears off eBay that I used to have when I was like 5. And I'm like, lol, like I'm literally going to the Roald Dahl Museum. Like I'm my screensaver on my phone is me as a child because I'm like, I'm the mother of you and I have to look out for you because that's who I'm doing it for.
Future self energy. We talked about that before.
So it's that's what I would say. I think healing is not linear and it's really difficult when it's still ongoing. Like mine is still ongoing and every day I'm like,
yeah. And what was that book that you recommended? Because it was about how trauma, it doesn't just leave your body. It's
The Body Keeps the Score?
yes,
Yes.
that was it.
Incredible.
Great book.
Yeah.
Great book. Yeah.
So that's a good book recommendation for the listeners.
Breath work has been fantastic. Journaling has been fantastic.
Love journaling.
And also, I think, like, you know, just remembering you don't have to be strong all the damn time. I have to sometimes be like, you know, like, I'll over-apologize or over-explain. Like, don't over-explain.
No.
You need a sec. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just like
That's all
touching
right.
it.
Touch me.
All
You
of
need
that.
a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, just because it's really difficult. And I think, you know, my whole thing is if this is what's happening to me and I have a platform, then what about the other people? Because what are they going through? You know what I mean? People who have got, you know, mental health issues or drug and alcohol issues or whatever, and it's easy for them to be weaponized against and those things to be weaponized against them. What are they going through? So for me, I'm like, as I said, my activism is always me being myself. This is me being myself. I am all these things. And also, it is not, you know, I reported that officer 6 months after I got married.
Wow.
And that was on purpose because I realized that no new car, no husband, no new job, because the year I reported him, I had 2 documentaries. I was on the cover of Superdrug. You cannot out-achieve what's happened to you.
Wow, yeah.
You can never. I got married. We moved into a lovely house. I was what
with
happened
you.
was still
It stays.
choking me. And so, yes, you know, right now I'm like, no, I wouldn't want a woman to file a complaint because it's so awful. But I do want women to really take their power back. And if it means you're married or if it means you're in a relationship and you want to report your abuser, I would absolutely say do it. Because I would do it all over again if I had to. Because the liberation I feel from speaking truth about what happened to me is unmatched.
Yeah.
Like I'm free. Like I literally remember leaving the police station when I did my interview and I literally started playing Mary Mary Shackles.
It's like taking off a heavy wet coat.
It was like,
isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I was literally like, share goes, because I was like, no, I'm free.
Yeah,
I was like,
that.
I'm free, y'all.
That is so good.
And like no one, even though it got hellish after that, I
Yeah.
was like,
But
you can't take that
taken the
moment
leap.
back.
Yeah.
You've taken that jump
That's
into
it. You
the
don't
deep,
have
dark
power
ocean.
over me anymore.
And you're
You
free
can't
from
silence
those shackles.
me.
No,
You
that's
mess
it.
with the
The
wrong bitch.
The shackles are off.
Honestly.
Good.
Wow.
And that
What a
is the
story.
liberation and
Yeah.
the freedom that I want for every woman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
speak
Good.
your truth. The shame is not ours.
Yeah.
No.
I love
I'm like,
that.
my life is open, take whatever, but I should not feel shameful. I did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So that's, and when you
Clean
speak
heart.
out, and when you
Yeah.
speak out, then you realize that shame has to go somewhere, but it doesn't have to go with you.
Wow. How was the hubby throughout? Was he supportive? Because the
Yeah.
life partner you choose is one of the most important decisions.
Yeah.
And you love talking about relationships. So just touching on that,
Yeah.
like, did you have to kiss a few frogs before Hubs came along?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh my
But he's
good
been
Lord.
supportive.
Yeah,
Great.
he's been amazing.
Good.
Like, he's like, you do what you need to do. I've got your back.
Great.
Because he knew how important it was for me. And, you know, he's been married before. He's gone through, he's an older man. He's gone through stuff. He gets it. But he knew it was important for me to get my liberation. Because I do feel like, you know, if you don't speak truth about certain things that happen to you, then it can actually like mess up your future.
Definitely.
Because, as I said, you could work hard all your, you know, it's like the arrival fallacy, this idea that when you get everything, you're going to be happy. And then you make it and you're like, I feel even worse.
Yeah, what next?
And
What
and I had a
next?
feeling I would feel like that. So I would rather have, I don't know, 2 years or 3 years of hell if it means a lifetime of joy. And he's like, I get it. I get the vision. You know, I want to. So he's been amazing. I know that if I was with other types of guys, they would have absolutely been like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
This is so bad. That's why the right partner, as you said, is really
So
important.
important.
It's got to be someone mature and understanding and like
Empathetic.
And you fly the flag for the older man. I'm over here, cougar, with the younger
such a
man.
cougar.
I know. Two little ends of the
But
spectrum
to
here.
be honest, I always joke with my husband, I'm like, obviously, like, I want you to be alive to your 100, but like when you die, I will be, my second life will be with a younger man.
Yeah.
Joan Collins, Kris Jenner. Absolutely. I'll be like, Roberto, darling, can you pour me and the girlies some Prosecco?
How good.
And I'm like, he's so cute, isn't he? Oh, look at his little tongue.
It's the way you're doing this as if you got a little bell.
Bell as well.
The Prosecco.
The bell will be there.
Oh,
The bell
that is
will
so
be there.
Oh, Jackie.
funny.
I feel like Jacob's trying hard not to laugh.
That is so good.
Thank you so much, Jackie. What a conversation. I just really want to ask you, just to sort of wrap up and round off the combo, just to find out what is next for you.
Oh my gosh, what a question.
Yeah.
Well, lots of different things. It's so hard because sometimes you can't say. But no, lots of exciting.
Ooh, do tell.
Exciting
An exclusive.
things. Maybe a documentary.
Love
coming
it.
up, yeah, and some other bits. So yeah, lots of things being crossed. Sorry, I'm just.
I know. Just keep your hand there if you want,
I'm
darling.
so
Keep
handsy.
it there.
Just for the listeners, in case you're
I'm
not watching
so
on YouTube,
handsy.
Jackie just keeps
I'm
on
sorry.
touching
Me.
Camilla.
But I love it.
I'm so honestly, when I've had a drink, I literally smash glasses. I'm
Are
like,
you drunk?
No.
Wait, I want to have a drink today. That's funny.
I'm actually teetotal like you right now. Well,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not drinking. But
Amazing.
yes, lots of exciting things in the pipeline, so
Amazing.
that you'll be seeing very, very soon.
Amazing.
But thank you so much for having me. I've
Ah,
had
thank you so much.
I
It's
feel like
been
this
a joy.
hasn't even been long enough.
I know.
know.
She was like, oh,
I
and I've
know.
got one more question. Please, Jacob, can I ask it?
We have got another client in.
Oh, boo.
We're not. We'll have to do a Jackie
Yeah.
part 2.
It's just because I know you've got your intro to do still, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
and
Soz,
Calvin
yeah.
wants us to stay to take
Yeah,
pictures or
sorry.
something to help him out.
With 3 chatterboxes.
But yeah, well, yeah, we're not allowed. We're not allowed. So we'll have to do a Jackie part 2 soon.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
But for now, Jackie, thank you so
you,
much. You've been an
darlings.
absolute joy. And guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.